Hey there everyone, welcome to another exciting Game Thrifter video. I'm happy to have you along. We're cruising towards 10,000 subscribers. That is amazing. It's been a long time since Microsoft announced backwards compatibility with the Xbox One announcement coming almost a decade ago, believe it or not. Yeah, that time's flying. And it was one of my favorite announcements, and it still is one of my favorite announcements. And even though they're not doing the backwards compatibility program anymore, it's still an amazing feat that they were able to do it at all. And for us gamers that collect video games by the boatload like myself, it was nice to be able to have a good number of my Xbox 360 games be backwards compatible. I've done a couple of videos before on this channel about backwards compatibility, Xbox 360 backwards compatibility with Xbox Series X, and I was cruising through my backlog and I was like, man, there's a lot of good backwards compatible games that I haven't mentioned before, so I thought I would do them in this video. And these games are so much fun. I can't wait to get into this because I think everyone's going to enjoy the video. So hold on, let's get started. This should be a good one. Some awesome backwards compatibility Xbox 360 games played on my Xbox Series X. Let's go. First up is a game called Beyond Good and Evil HD. What's really cool about this game is that it's a remaster of an older game, but it's really done well. Usually you don't see that kind of thing happen with these remasters, but if you aren't familiar with it, it's an action-adventure game with stealth. It's got photography, puzzle solving, and some combat in as well, and it's got a really cool kind of color palette and graphical style as well. It's really done with a lot of fun in mind. It's got an open world aesthetic with some free roam abilities as well. It's got a cool photographic kind of mechanic that you can use. You basically can take pictures and things like that as you go and progress through the game. You're trying to capture proof of enemies doing bad things and things like that. There are some stealth sections. Listen, I'm not the biggest stealth fan, but it's relatively easier because the game comes from 2003 originally. It was remastered in 2011, but in 2003 they're limited by the hardware, so it makes it significantly easier to be able to do that as well. The other cool thing is that you can kind of switch between your partners that you're playing as and complete different puzzles. It's got some platforming, you push, pull, all that kind of good stuff. There's a lot of side content and stuff like that as well. The game itself, which I think is really cool because you can play it and it'll last a good amount of time. So if you want to play something for 10, 11, 12 hours and you're into this, then I think you're going to really have a fun time with it. Unfortunately, the sequel was announced, but it's still MIA. But this will hold you over because it's such a fun game. Next up is probably one of the most mature rated games that you can play, and that is Dante's Inferno. And if it looks sort of like a God of War game, it is a lot like that, to be honest with you. And this game came out 15 years ago, but still looks really great. It's a third-person action-adventure hack-and-slash game, and what's really cool about it is it's really well done in terms of the voice acting, the music. Graphically, I think it still looks pretty darn good, and again, it's not too dissimilar from God of War, but it kind of has its own path as well. You basically kind of go in with the hack and slash combat, a lot of meleeing with combos and stuff, and you get different types of attack, including ranged, and you can mix them up with light and heavy attacks depending on which one you want to push. And they did such a good job with it. The other part is sometimes you're able to do some moral choices in this game, which is something that God of War kind of lacks. But overall, it's a really good game. There's a lot of platforming and puzzles that kind of go in, but it's not too bad. It's not overly tough to figure out the puzzles. There's epic boss fights. I don't even have to tell you. There's so many awesome boss fights in this game. And yeah, there's some QTEs and stuff for the finishers and things, but it doesn't go overboard with them. So I think that's good from a really good kind of standpoint as well. The game itself, you can actually play this game for, 13, 14, 15 hours to finish it. It's just such a fantastic game. Visceral, bloody, gory. This is just realistically one of the biggest M-rated games I've ever played, and it is a blast. Next up is Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is a very interesting game because It's probably the easiest 1000 gamer score you can get on an Xbox 360 game. Literally takes you 5 minutes to do it. But basically it's set in the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is kind of based off books and I think like a TV show or whatever. The core narrative is basically you're kind of learning and going along as things kind of progress in the story. There's a lot of real-time action combat using all 4 elements for the first time, kind of as you get them. There is actually an interesting kind of co-op to this as well. If you're looking for a game that has some light exploration, they're very linear levels, like they're not like going to be tough to find your way around, and some light puzzles as well, bending based puzzles, so it's not something that doesn't fit with the game, so it actually does fit kind of well with the games. You can finish the game probably in about 8 or 9 hours, something like that, so it's not the longest game ever, but it is still a little bit of fun to see that kind of happen. And like I noted before, there's 5 achievements. It can literally be done in the first 5 minutes on the first level. I know this isn't like the highest scoring game or anything like that, but it's a decent game if you're a fan of Avatar, and I've heard people say that they enjoyed the game, like it was easy 1000 to get, so I think that's pretty cool. And overall, I think that it handles pretty well. So yeah, I'm recommending it. If you don't like it, hey, whatever, it's cool. We can all have different opinions. Next up might be the game with the catchiest theme song ever. No, I'm not going to get into that theme song, but Ducktales Remastered. I love the art style in this game. I was trying to play it, and I admit I was sucking pretty bad at it just because I hadn't played it in a while, but this game just looks and sounds so good. 2.5D platformer. It's got some amazing looking color and graphics to it. Just amazing. It's got a retail disc release as well. If you ever come across this on Xbox 360, grab the disc. It's not too expensive. I think you can get it for about 20 bucks or so, 25 bucks. But yeah, really cool game. Obviously, Scrooge McDuck. There's different worlds. It's a remake of the classic game for NES, and it's got really a core kind of mechanic to it. You're looking for 5 legendary treasures, and it's just a lot of fun. Your core mechanic is basically kind of bouncing around on Scrooge McDuck's cane, kind of like a pogo stick, and that's how he kind of defeats enemies and goes from one place to another. It's pretty interesting the way that they've kind of handled this as well. You could do it like a more difficult way to do it or an easier way. It's got a lot of platforming and exploration. This game is, it's interesting. It's not too hard to beat. It's not going to take you forever to do it either. You can actually beat it in about 5 hours or so. So keep that in mind. Maybe a little bit longer if you want 100% all the achievements. But yeah, nice to see that if you get the retail disc, you get, I think there's an all 1000 gamer score for it, which I think is pretty cool as well. And like I said, if you're a fan of DuckTales, you're going to want to play this. This is just such a fun game. And it's a game to pop in and play just when you want to spend, 15, 20, 30 minutes playing something. Hey there, if you're enjoying this video or any of the videos on my channel, please take a minute to consider subscribing, liking the video, sharing it out, and especially commenting on the videos, as those things all help. They help the channel to grow, they help the videos to be seen. It has something to do with like YouTube's algorithm, but I'm cruising towards 10,000 subscribers and would really just appreciate your help. I'm doing, a lot of these amazing, retro videos, and if that's up your alley, please tell somebody about me, like the video. Hey, after all, I've got to be more entertaining than eating 64 slices of American cheese, right?
63. 2.
Have you been up all night eating cheese?
I think I'm blind.
Good day to you.
Next up might be one of my favorite games on the 360, and that's Mass Effect. Yeah, you can play the remasters on newer hardware, and that's cool, but there's just something about playing it on the Xbox 360 that is amazing and just really, really enjoyable. At the time, Mass Effect was a console exclusive to the Xbox 360, and, some people didn't like certain aspects about it, but I actually think it's quite charming to have the original and playing through that. I know the Mako can be a pain in the butt or whatever, but, again, great RPG, space role-playing game. You're basically playing Commander Shepard. You can be a man or woman, whichever one. It's really up to you. You're kind of sent to investigate some things going on in the galaxy. Third-person action combat, real-time shooting cover system as well. It's got some really cool stuff about a lot of cool weapons in there, rifles, shotguns, snipers, and you also get squad mates that are AI companions that can help you out. It's got very good. This is maybe the most RPG-ish of the Mass Effect games. It's got a lot of RPG progression in there as well. You can level up yourself and your squad mates, different skill trees and things. Of course, dialogues and choices, basically branching conversation, a typical BioWare, really, right? Where it kind of decides what you want to do, even your relationship and who you're going to like romance. So that's really cool about this game. All that stuff is in there. There's crafting, there's mini games, there's DLC, there's a lot of different things in this game that make it worthwhile, even playing this game on 360, and it's still a lot of fun. Next up, another one of my favorite games, which is Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformed. Yeah, it's like a Mario Kart type thing, but I think in a lot of ways it actually beats Mario Kart in certain aspects, which is really cool. So basically the setting of this is like sort of a Sega multiverse. You have tracks that are inspired by Sonic, Super Monkey Ball, Nights in the Dreams, Jet Grind Radio, Panzer Dragoon, Billy Hatcher, Golden Axe. It's like a Fruitopia of Sega lands, and I love it because growing up I was a huge Sega fan. So there's a lot of playable characters: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Shadow, Robotnik, Beat. Just so many different ones. Alex Kidd, Wreck-It Ralph. Well, I don't know if Wreck-It Ralph is in this one. I think each one is different. Depending on which version of the game you get. So 360 would be different than some of the other versions of the game. But you have transforming vehicles, which is cool because, I know like Mario Kart was doing that as well, but your vehicles auto switch from like car to boat to plane, and it's just really cool the way that they handle it. It's basically a kart style game. You get boost chains, drifts, and all that kind of stuff is very important in this as well. There's really just a ton of fun that you can spend on this with a world tour. There's career, there's co-op. There's a lot of different things in here that help you kind of progress through the game. If you actually want to beat the game, it's going to take you maybe 15-20 hours longer if you want to get all the achievements for sure. But yeah, this is probably one of my favorite racing games of all time. It's just such a good game, and one that doesn't get talked about enough in my opinion. But yeah, awesome. Next up, Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2. Yeah, this is a fun game. I understand that it's not the same amount of fun as the first game, but I still find it to be a very fun game, and a game that can be just interesting in terms of Star Wars lore and things like that. I know it's not really canon anymore, but it's still a fun game. This game came out way back in 2010, so 15 years old. Man, that's crazy. Starkiller, who was done by Sam Witwer, absolutely phenomenal job on this. If you haven't known, he actually voiced Darth Maul in I think the Clone Wars. So yeah, that's really cool. But basically, I don't want to give away too much of the story, but at one point it was canon until I think George Lucas sold off the entire IP of Star Wars to Disney. Gameplay is hack and slash combat. It's got a lot of third person melee, lightsabers, combos, throws, blocks, force powers you can earn throughout the game as well. You upgrade them throughout the game. There's some platforming and puzzles included in here, as well as some pretty epic boss fights with like multi-phase to each one of them, so I think that's cool as well. There's interesting, you get orbs to upgrade your combos, and there's different collectibles to find as well. There's also DLC to find in here, and I think that's awesome. So to beat this game is going to take you probably 7, 8, 9 hours, something along those lines. Shouldn't take you too long, but you're going to pretty much enjoy the time that you're spending with this game because it is a lot of fun. Next up, an epic game, maybe the last great skateboarding game, but Skate 3. That's right, this is a skateboarding game. A lot of people love the Tony Hawk games, I get it. I think the skate games were also really, really good. So you can customize your character, you can control, you kind of recruit AI teammates along the way. It's basically a very loose sort of story to kind of go on in here, but still a fun one. They've really done well with like flick it controls, so it's like you can use like different flicks for ollies and grabs and all that kind of stuff, and it's not too difficult to figure out, you know, what's going on with the game and how to control it and things like that. Plus, there's difficulty modes as well, so if you want easier tricks or faster speed, you can do that as well if you want to put it on easy. You know, it's phenomenally easy to kind of master. There's a lot of customization and progress as well with this. The graphics are really amazing, as you can see. If you want to complete the game in terms of the career, 15, 16, 17 hours, much more. If you want to do like free roam exploration, replay challenges for high scores and things like that. So, you know, a lot of people consider this to be one of the best definitive racing games of all time. There's a lot of achievements to get in this, so yeah, you better set some time aside if you want to 100% it. But overall, not too bad to kind of see how things are in here. There's a lot of customization to be found that, you know, hopefully you guys can get some use out of. I think this game is absolutely incredible, and it still holds up, you know, all these years later, and is one of the definitive skateboarding experiences. Next up is a little known game that people don't really talk about anymore, but that's the Telltale Games version of Jurassic Park, the game. I love this game. It has a physical release. It's very expensive on the Xbox 360, but like I said, it's backwards compatible, so I think it's really cool to be able to play with it and kind of go out there and enjoy something of the Jurassic Park. It's set after the 1993 Jurassic Park film events, so it's kind of exploring a little bit after that, not all the newer stuff, so keep that in mind as you kind of go with it. It's an interactive movie style, heavy quick time events, which obviously if you've ever played Telltale games, you'd know that that's pretty much their forte, and that's what they do. There's a lot of branching dialogue and choices that you make that has some impact on the choices of the game and how the game turns out. So that's as well. So the really cool thing about this is there's some tense kind of encounters with dinosaurs that really require you to do some QTE, and there's some stealth parts, or you know, and yeah, it's it can really kind of hamper the game. It's very tense in general. To beat the game itself, probably about 9, 10, 11 hours, something along those lines, but just a very fun game in general to kind of play through, and you know that you can kind of kick back and play, you know, half hour at a time or something. Like, you know, I know some people probably are into that, like you just want to chill and you don't want to Call of Duty, you don't want to do, you know, Battlefield, you just want to play something for, you know, 20-30 minutes. This is a good game to do that too and relax with. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to kind of end with Bully Scholarship Edition. I've mentioned this numerous times before, but sometimes if I make content and it's, you know, not 30 minutes long, it's easier to get more content out, so hopefully that's something you all are enjoying. Bully Scholarship Edition, fun game. This is something that I wish we would have gotten a sequel to, but this is a fun game that's kind of set in a town of an academy called Bullworth Academy, and it's kind of a boarding school, and you can kind of go in and out of it and things like that. You play a 13 or a 15-year-old, who's kind of dropped off at the school by his parents, and you know, you're kind of navigating the hierarchy there. You can find your own cliques, you can make friends, betray them, you know, whatever you want to do. There's all kinds of people in there that you can kind of explore with and interact with. Third person sandbox, of course, as known by, you know, Rockstar Games. That's kind of their thing. And it's like I said, it's a really cool. There's a lot of cool combat in there, punching, grapples, wedgies. You know, there's a lot of non-lethal weapons in there, slingshot, stink bombs, baseball bat, and those kind of things. There's classes that you have to go to. There's some that are optional. It's kind of funny that it makes you kind of go to school or whatever, but there's a ton to do in this game. It's absolutely a ton to do in this game. If you want to complete everything, you're talking about 25-35 hours to complete it. And you know, overall, just a fun game to kind of play through, and something a little bit different. You know, I mean, I know all of us probably enjoy Rockstar games like Grand Theft Auto and, you know, Red Dead Redemption, but this is really an underlooked game, and it's so much fun, and you can play it through backwards compatibility. If you've never played it before, I suggest playing it, man. It's so good. So there are literally hundreds of backwards compatible games that you could play that are 360 games on an Xbox Series X or an Xbox One. If you want to see more of these type of videos, let me know. I've got, I think, pretty much all of the backwards compatibility games at this point in my collection, so it'd be easy to go through and pick them. What are some of yours to play? I know like my lists are usually a little bit different than what the average list would be, because I put games in there sometimes that a lot of people don't think about, and they're like, oh, those are really cool, I should have thought of that. But overall, I'm always curious to read the list that you guys come up with in the comment section, because I know we all have different kind of ideas and thoughts when it comes to video games. So I want to humbly thank you all for coming with me on this journey on this channel as we approach 10,000 subscribers. It's been a pure joy to do these videos. Let's be kind to each other in the comments. Be good. Let's respect each other's opinions and things like that. Have a great day, my friends. I'll catch you next time. Game on. Game on.